Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Judges, Participants, and Committee. I'm Royanda Pangeran Haholongan Damanik from SMA 1 Sindang, Indramayu. In this occasion, I will deliver my speech with the title, The Future of Millennial Skills in the Age of AI. In this case, I will explain a millennial that can be compete with technology. First thing first, I would like to talk about the definition of millennial. Grouped together in society by the all-encompassing term millennial, it applies to people who were born in the years between 1982 and sometime in the early 2000s. This group of people were given the name millennials. Millennials have also been referred to as echo boomers. The reason for this is that there was a major surge in birth rates in the 80s and 90s that bring millennials, the children of the baby boomer category of people. The group before millennials are Generation X, who are generally between 38 and 53 years old, because this group is the generation before millennials. Because this group is the generation before millennials, it means millennials should really have been called Generation Y. However, technology and the evolution of the way people live is a major factor. Millennials grow up when the landline phones and dial internet was still a thing, whereas post-millennial, also known as Generation Z, people aged newborn to 2000, are much accustomed to smartphones, smart TVs, and 4G. Other than age, millennials often have more liberal politically when compared to other age groups. Based on the Oxford Dictionary, futuristic modern technology means facilities and infrastructure to provide good necessary for the survival and convenience of human life, providing benefits. The use of technology by mankind begins with the conversion of the natural resources into various kinds of simple tools. In fact, it's not only simple, there are also tools. In this world, we are getting more sophisticated with the times. It proves there is the connection between millennial generation and futuristic modern technology. Ladies and gentlemen, science fiction is full of stories about machine versus humans, and probably many of you grew up watching movies like The Terminator or perhaps I, Robot. But is this the sort of the world we will live in a few years? Think about this. The new form of automation already clearly transforming our society, advanced robotic, artificial intelligence are increasing productivity and improving lives. However, what will happen to our jobs in the future and what sort of skills will we need to perform them? These are the key questions for my speech today. But before I speak about them, let me take a step back and look at the cause of this disruption in the first place and what tech experts think the impact of these technologies will be. Probably one of the most talked about innovation in recent times, and they already, I think, mentioned it, is artificial intelligence or AI. Experts believe it's going to be one of the main drivers of the fourth industrial revolution, and it has potential to not just transform the tech sector, but the way we live our lives. Obviously, a lot of debate about this impact, whether it's going to be a force of good that will help us, that will free us from the repetitive work, or that it's going to be the advancement that brings an end to the human race. Mark Zuckerberg and Larry Page, the founders of technology companies, they are forefront at artificial intelligence. They are quite optimistic about the impact of AI. Zuckerberg was quoted saying that AI will help humanity reach its full potential. He also added that AI and other such technologies will help us to spend more time on the tasks that really mattered, for us to spend more time with families. And the other side is populated by people like Bill Gates, Elon Musk, also tech giant in a way. Their views are pessimistic to say the least. They warn against the potential of AI is to replace humans in the workplace, and Elon Musk even went as far as to claim that AI is the biggest existential threat to mankind. This was tough for me to hear because Elon Musk is somebody I really look up to, somebody I admire, and such a claim, I think, has the unintended consequence of spreading fears amongst people, especially people who may not understand about this technology. And I believe that obviously it's good to take pros and cons of any new technology, but if you start with a foundation of fear, that never ends to good results. Brother and sister, look back at history. Go back a little bit in time with me, please. Every generation before ours has faced massive technological change in the 18th century. With the advent of the first industrial revolution, people were afraid of technologies like the steam engine or a machine that can cut and shape metal tools. But exactly this invention enabled people at the time to increase their standard of living, to live better longer lives. But now, if you look at the data, according to research conducted by the McKinsey Global Institute, less than 5% of our jobs can be entirely automated using technology. At least in the foreseeable future, our jobs are safe. But this study also found something a bit more intriguing, I would say, is that 60% of our occupation, at the least a third, if not more, of their tasks. So, in other words, to translate the MIT research, our jobs are safe, at least for the foreseeable future. But the way we perform the jobs, the sort of tasks we will do, this is most likely going to change, most likely, hopefully for the better. Technology is also disrupting, among other things, education, especially the core curriculum of many academic fields. The fact that 65% of our jobs we are preparing our elementary school students for, then as a chef, how can you, as parents, as brothers or sister, deal with this uncertainty? Ladies and gentlemen, I will give you an example. 10 or maybe even 5 years ago, we would have to that uploading videos on YouTube and creating a community around them will become a career for somebody. Other such jobs will appear in the future, and we shall be quite safe to say it's going to be hard to predict the type of careers we'll have or the type of skills we'll need as millennials to perform them. But what they will see certainty is the fact that education will be the key to face these challenges, to face this uncertainty. Education needs to be transformed from the ground up, and we have to tackle the status quo because according to research, there are still many schools around the world who teach people, young people, using an old approach borrowed from a time in which the sole purpose of education was to prepare people for physical jobs in agriculture and manufacturing. School should be a place where instead of preparing young people, including millennials, for higher education, for employment, we should prepare them to live better lives, more fulfilling lives, because the purpose of education should go beyond just preparing better students or employees. It should be preparing better leaders, better innovators, better politicians. History teaches us from years and years ago that technological change benefit us all by investing in developing people, especially millennials. It's like mission. You don't stop when you are 24 and you are finished or higher education. Learning is for life, and I want millennials to remember that you never stop learning. And if there one thing I like you to remember from my talk, let's sum it all up, technological advancements I briefly touch upon like AI and advanced robotics, they should not scare us. If we invest education and if we invest lifelong learning, we'll be able to adapt the pivot and get back on feet regardless of the challenges we are faced with. Thank you for your attention. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.